Over the next couple of weeks, I want to talk to you guys about what real faith is. But today I want to talk to you about what faith is not. I want to read a passage to you guys in the book of Job, chapter 1, beginning in verse 6. It says, Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? Then Satan answered the Lord, and said, Doth Job fear God not? Hast thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon him put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And there was a day when the sons and his daughters were eating and drinking in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job, and said, The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sebans fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and only I am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there also came another, and said, The Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house, and behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote all 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped to tell thee. Then Job arose, and rent his mantle, and shaved his head, and fell down upon the ground, and worshipped, and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Today I want to talk to you guys a few minutes about having circumstantial faith. Satan here in the book of Job comes to God, and God begins to brag about Job and saying how what a great man Job is and what great faith that he has. And Satan begins to tell God, well, the only reason why he loves you, the only reason why he serves you is because look at all the stuff that he has. He's rich, he's powerful, he's influential, he has friends, he has this great family. And he begins to tell God, he said, I bet if you were to take all of that away, if his circumstances were to be different, then I bet he wouldn't love you. As a matter of fact, I bet that he would even curse you to your face if you were to let me take all that away from him. And so God allows the devil to go and do this. And we read here in this story in Job chapter 1, all of these things that Job lost in the matter of one day. He lost all of his cattle. He lost all of his servants. He lost his livelihood. He lost everything that he held near to him. He lost his family. He lost every single one of his children. All of them were gone all at one time. Literally here in this moment, Job's world just falls down around him. And so Satan, he does all of these things to Job, and I can imagine in my mind that he's just sitting back and he's just waiting for Job to just begin to curse God and to begin to just be mad and to be angry at God. But instead, what we read right here in verses 20 through 22 is that Job actually worships God. Yes, he was mourning. Yes, he rent his clothes. He shaved his head. He done all of that stuff. He was mourning. He wasn't happy. Go through, read the rest of the book of Job, and there's many times that Job has questions. But he never, in all of this, it says, in all of this, Job sinned not, nor did he charge God foolishly. Job wasn't shaken. His faith didn't falter in this. And so how is that even possible when you look at everything that he had lost, everything that had went wrong in his life? How could that possibly even happen? Because Job's faith wasn't based on his circumstances. It was based on something else. His faith was rooted inside of God. So many times we're guilty of having circumstantial faith. I can say that because I am too. So many times I pray for God to please do something for me. I pray for a prayer request, and when God doesn't answer my prayer request the way that I want him to, or in the time that I want him to, I begin to have doubts, and I begin to ask God, are you even there? God, are you real? God, do you love me? God, do you see me? God, do you care about me? And sometimes I get mad at God. Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes I deal with depression because my faith in God is slipping because it's based on my circumstances. It's not really truly based on God. But we can't let our faith be based on one set of circumstance, one time that God doesn't answer our prayer the way that we want him to, one time that we're facing this. It's like a little child, about 4 years old, when his daddy takes him to the doctor and the doctor gives him shots and hurts him and does all of this stuff. You ask that little 4-year-old kid, does your daddy love you? He's going to be tempted to say, no, daddy doesn't love me. He took me to this place and these people, they hurt me. And it was scary. My daddy doesn't love me, or he wouldn't have taken me there. But years down the road, as he's an adult himself and even taking his own kids to the doctor, he realizes that his father was doing that because he loved him, because it was best for him. A lot of times when we go through these circumstances, when we go through these things, whenever we're in the middle of it, when we're in the middle of a storm, when we're in the middle of our prayers going unanswered, we want to know, God, why are you doing this to us? God, why am I having to face this? And we don't see the good in it. But God sees the big picture, and God knows that it's going to be best for us down the road. As we look at the story of Job, as tragic as it was, as he lost everything that he had and everything that he loved and everything that he had to go through, he was able to see God in a fresh way, in a real way. And then God was even able to bless Job because of everything that he went through. Today I want to encourage you guys to not let your faith to be based on your circumstance. That yeah, maybe you're going through a trial, maybe you're going through something, and I don't belittle that at all, but I know there are many of you guys that you face things that me as an adult that I've never had to face. And there are some of you guys that I look at the circumstances that you're going through and I don't understand it. I don't know why it is that you're going through this. I don't see God's plan in this. But I know that God does have a plan. And I know that our faith can't be based on our circumstances. If we have that type of faith that what I'm feeling now, what I'm going through now is what I believe now, then from day to day we're just going to be an absolute mess. It has to be rooted and founded on something deeper. It has to be rooted and founded on something that's not going to change, and that is God. My circumstances might change. My feelings might change tomorrow. My feelings might change in 10 minutes. Something might happen. But God's never going to change. He's the same yesterday, today, and every single tomorrow there's ever going to be. God is the same. And we must base our faith on him and his character and not our circumstances.